morning, viewers. You're watching Republic TV and my name is Priyanka Das. Welcome to today's segment of Quick Morning, where we delve into the latest news and updates from around the country and across the world to set the tone for your day. From tracking the farmers' protest to the Enforcement Directorate's latest raids. Stay tuned as Republic TV brings you the ground realities of these developments. But that's not all. We'll also be bringing you the latest updates from the realms of business, sports and entertainment in our jam-packed lineup for this morning. So let's kickstart today's Mega News Day here on Republic, as always with the nation first this quick morning. Farmers protesting for legal guarantee on MSP suspended their foot march to Delhi after several were injured in a clash with the Haryana police at the Shambhu Border. The 101 Farmer Jathas began the march as planned but were stopped by barricades and tear shells fired by the Haryana police. Despite efforts to clear the barricades, the farmers were unable to advance. The protest will be halted today and will be continued again tomorrow. The farmers are demanding a legal guarantee for MSP, farm debt waivers and other agricultural reforms.
101 का जथा इसी तरह से आगे बढ़ेगा। कल का हमने केंद्र को समय दिया है और अपनी ओर से पीसफुल रखने के लिए हम सरकार के साथ टकराव नहीं चाहते हैं, इसलिए दोनों फोरमों ने उचित निर्णय लेकर रखा कि हम टकराव अपनी ओर से नहीं चाहते हैं।
India has demanded actions against Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar following his speech in a public gathering in Pakistan. The MEA has emphasized that if these reports are true, then it would expose Pakistan's duplicity in tackling terrorism. The MEA has also stated that Masood Azhar is involved in cross-border terror attacks on India. He also criticized Pakistan's previous denial of Azhar's presence in the country.
This terrorist, he's a UN designated terrorist. We demand that strong action be taken against him, that he brought to justice. There has been denial that he is not there in Pakistan.
India has issued a travel advisory for citizens in Syria due to the escalating tensions in the country. Syrian rebels have made significant advances in the country, including capturing up parts of Aleppo city and Hama. Government has expressed concerns for the safety of its citizens. The MEA has confirmed that India is closely following and monitoring the situation in Syria. The Indian government has advised Indian citizens in Syria to stay in contact with the Indian embassy in Damascus.
We have noted that there has been recent escalation in fighting in North Syria. We are closely following the situation. There are about 90 Indian nationals, we understand. There are also several Indians there who are working with UN organizations. Our embassy is in regular touch with our Indian nationals for their safety and security.
Karnataka state government has passed a bill aiming to benefit the minorities in educational institutions. The bill relaxes conditions for minority educational institutions, allowing them to maintain their minority status even if the number of minority students falls below a certain threshold. That's two-thirds majority in college management mandates that at least two-thirds of the management of minority educational institutions must comprise minority members. The bill aims to provide greater autonomy to the minority educational institutions and ensure their continued recognition and support.
As regards minority institutions are concerned, in accordance with the Constitution of India, and also in accordance with the National Minority Commission, the rules will be issued, and there, as regards the management is concerned, two-thirds of the management, whatever is there in the rules, now which was there for primary, secondary, it is now for the colleges also, higher education.
A Delhi court has sent up MLA Naresh Balyan to police custody till December 13th in a case related to alleged organized crimes. Special Judge Kaveri Baveja sent Balyan to the custody on a plea filed by the police seeking his custody in a case lodged under the MCOCA. Balyan was produced on court on expiry of his one-day judicial custody.
प्रोसिक्यूशन की कंटेंशंस थी वो ये थी कि इन्होंने 10 डेज का पीसी रिमांड सीक किया था ऑनरेबल कोर्ट से। उसके ऊपर एक लेंदी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हुए थे कल भी। देन अब बेसिक जो इसका मेन जो इसकी चीज थी इसके अंदर वो ये थी कि द जुडिक्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। अब वो जुडिक्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू पे कल भी सारी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हुई थी। कल जज साहब ने बिकॉज द टाइम इश्यूज आर देयर तो जज साहब ने इसको एक दिन के लिए जेसी भेज दिया था। देर आफ्टर आज 12 बजे नरेश बाल्यान जो कि सिटिंग एमएलए हैं उनको दोबारा पेश किया गया था ऑनरेबल कावेरी बवेजा मैम की कोर्ट में।
ED seized cash worth rupees 13.5 crore in cash following such operations at 7 premises in Ahmedabad and Mumbai. This cash seizure is linked to an ongoing investigation into a major fraud involving the Nashik Merchant Cooperative Bank in Nashik's Malegaon. This case stems from an FIR registered by the Malegaon Chavni police station on November 7th. The ED's probe also uncovered 5 similar accounts at the Bank of Maharashtra in Nashik. The money trail investigation revealed that large sums were transferred to 21 sole proprietorship concerns, and then there were funds that were moved to various firms and companies. A significant portion of these funds was withdrawn in cash and distributed via Hawala operators in Ahmedabad, Mumbai and Surat. Border guard Bangladesh personnel halted the renovation of a temple near the Kushiara River along the India-Bangladesh border in Assam Sri Bhumi district. The interruption occurred amid growing unrest in Bangladesh. The temple in question, a Manasa temple at the immersion ghat of Kushiara, was in a dilapidated condition, prompting the Assam government to allocate 3 lakh for its renovation. However, when workers began the repair work on Thursday, a BGB team from Bangladesh stationed at the Jaki Ganj in Sylhet division crossed into the Indian territory via speedboat. They instructed the workers to stop the renovation, citing concerns. Union Cabinet has approved the establishment of 5 new Kendriya Vidyalayas and 28 new Navodaya Vidyalayas. Additionally, the Cabinet has approved the expansion of 1 existing Kendriya Vidyalaya. The opening of these new KVs will provide over 82,000 students across India with access to affordable, high-quality education. Currently, there are 1,256 operational Kendriya Vidyalayas, including 3 located abroad in Moscow, Kathmandu and Tehran, with a total of 13.56 lakh students enrolled. Construction and infrastructure development for these schools are expected to generate numerous employment opportunities for both skilled and unskilled workers.
न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करने के लिए पीएम श्री माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के सेकेंड टर्म में लाया गया था और उसमें केंद्रीय विद्यालय और नवोदय विद्यालय को एग्जाम्पलर स्कूल्स के हिसाब से सारे के सारे केंद्रीय विद्यालय और सारे नवोदय विद्यालय को पीएम श्री स्कूल्स में डेजिग्नेट किया गया है और न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का वहाँ पे एक तरीके से मॉडल बने so that other schools can start following the new education policy.
Viewers, tracking the top business stories for the day. We bring you the latest updates on India's economic landscape, from fluctuations in GDP growth to significant developments in trade relations and foreign portfolio investments. Stay tuned as we delve into the key highlights shaping the business world today. The Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on Friday kept the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. In addition to announcing the repo rate, Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikant Das also made several announcements, including the decision to increase collateral-free agricultural loans. Announcing the decision, RBI Governor Das said that the limit for the collateral-free agricultural loans for farmers will be increased from rupees 1.6 lakh to rupees 2 lakh. This necessarily means that farmers will be able to obtain a higher amount of loan without having to pledge collateral. This decision accounts the rise in agricultural input costs and overall inflation and would help enhance credit availability for small and marginal farmers. The last time the central bank had revised these limits was in 2019 to rupees 1.6 lakh and from rupees 1 lakh set in 2010. The RBI also revised the consumer price index inflation for the current financial year at 4.8%, earlier 4.5%.
The Monetary Policy Committee decided by a majority of 4:2 to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Consequently, the standing deposit facility, that is SDF rate, remains at 6.25% and the marginal standing facility, that is the MSF rate, and the bank rate at 6.75%.
The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, approved the Ritala-Narela-Nathupur corridor of Delhi Metro's Phase 4 project on Friday, enhancing connectivity between Delhi and neighbouring Haryana. The 26.463-kilometre corridor, set to be completed in 4 years, will be implemented by Delhi Metro Rail Corporation at a cost of Rs 6,230 crore. With funding shared equally between the Government of India and the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi. Delhi Metro caters to an average of 64 lakh passenger journeys every day. A total of 12 metro lines of about 392 kilometers with 288 stations are being operated by the DMRC in Delhi and NCR at present. Indian billionaires saw a remarkable 42.1% rise in wealth, reaching $905.6 billion in 2024. As their numbers grew from 153 to 185, a report by UPS has said. Despite a mixed picture across the Asia-Pacific region, 14 new billionaires emerged in India, driven by rising equity markets and robust economic growth. In the APAC region, growth in billionaire wealth flattened, increasing by only 1.8% to $3.8 trillion. The number of billionaires fell from 1,019 to 981. Globally, US billionaires recorded the highest gains in 2024, with their wealth rising 27.6% to $5.8 trillion, comprising over 40% of the global billionaire wealth. The number of US billionaires grew by 11.2% to 835, with 101 new entrants. Paytm 197 Communications Private Limited, led by Vijay Shekhar Sharma, has announced the sale of its stake in Japan's PayPal to SoftBank. With the transaction valued at approximately Rs 2,000 crore, the company's board approved the sale of stock acquisition rights in PayPal, marking a strategic move to divest from non-core assets and focus on its primary business. The deal is expected to increase Paytm's cash balance and follows the recent sale of Paytm Insider to Zomato for Rs 2,048 crore. Paytm shares closed at an all-time high, rising 2.13% to Rs 976.25. LG Electronics India on Friday filed the draft red herring prospectus with the market regulator to launch its initial public offering 2 months after South Korean car manufacturer Hyundai got listed in India. In the issue, which is completely an offer for sale, promoter LG Electronics Inc. will offload 10.18 crore shares. The company has appointed Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Axis Capital, BofA Securities and Citigroup as book running lead managers for the issue, while KFin Technologies Limited will act as the registrar. Tensions continue to escalate in Mozambique as protests erupt in the capital city of Maputo, with supporters of presidential candidate Venancio Mondlane blocking major roads with burning tires and rocks. This protest is in response to the controversial results of the October elections, which have been heavily contested by opposition groups. Mondlane, who has led the opposition in the elections, called for a week-long phase of electoral contestation lasting from December 4th to December 11th. His calls for a fresh examination of the election results have fueled ongoing unrest across the nation. Since the protest began on October 21st, at least 88 people have lost their lives and 274 have been injured by gunfire. As the protests enter the second week, the struggle for electoral integrity and peaceful resolution continues to loom. Moving on to our international segment, where we are tracking the ground pulse of some of the biggest global headlines. Today, we delve into the significant developments from around the world, from tensions in the Middle East to elections across the globe. Stay tuned as we unravel the latest updates shaping the global landscape. In yet another harrowing event in the city of Gaza, a hospital was attacked by Israelis on Friday. The attack began with a series of airstrikes on the western and northern sides of the hospital, accompanied by gunfire and drone strikes. Following which, Israeli forces stormed the medical complex. The assault reportedly began abruptly as occupation forces used 2 detained Palestinians as human shields. It is reported that 21 people lost their lives amongst various other casualties. The latest strike came just days after the UN World Health Organization sent a team to the hospital for the first time in 60 days. As the Israeli onslaught on Gaza clocked past 423 days this week, famine continues to spread across the entire strip. With more than 1 million people surviving without access to food since July, or perhaps even earlier, Israelis have blocked humanitarian assistance to the strip, as Palestinians in Gaza have been subjected to decades of displacement and violations to rights of peace, freedom and health. Serbian university students blocked entry at dozens of universities across the country on Friday. In an unfortunate accident, a train station roof collapsed on November 1st, killing 15 people and injuring 2. The concrete awning of the recently roof caved in and has since become a topic of debate for the opposition. Citizens have taken to the streets, blaming the government for corruption and nepotism that resulted in the shoddy construction. The ruling coalition denies the charges as the protests intensify, awaiting a judgment. 2 American citizens and a Canadian went missing after they attempted to summit New Zealand's highest mountain. The climbers are presumed dead, as such operations were suspended on Friday. The climbers flew to the area on November 30th and planned to summit the 12,218-foot alpine mountain via the Zurbriggen Ridge. The 3 were reportedly overdue to meet their flight back on Monday, following which a helicopter and search rescue personnel began looking for them. Several items have been retrieved earlier this week, and the victims are allegedly have fallen to them. A Boston city councillor was arrested on Friday on federal fraud charges. An indictment alleges that the councillor hired a staff member in 2022 who was related to her and agreed to give that person a $13,000 bonus, most of which they would kick back to her. More details are expected to be released by the U.S. Attorney Office and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, though the councillor, identified as Tanya Fernandez Anderson, has been arrested on 5 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of theft concerning a program receiving federal funds. Fernandez Anderson became the first African immigrant and first Muslim elected to the council in November 2021, according to a biography on the city's government website. She was re-elected in 2023. Romania's constitutional court has annulled the result of the first round of voting. This comes in just days before the second round had to begin. The order was issued after a court concluded that several intelligence documenters were declassified, suggesting Georgescu, as the winner of round 1 of the elections, benefited from a mass influence pattern conducted from abroad. Calin Georgescu, the far-right candidate, had previously praised Vladimir Putin. The court has asked the government to rerun the entirety of the electoral process. The Constitutional Court also rejected claims filed by 2 of the losing candidates who accused Georgescu of illegal campaign financing. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol ordered the arrest of his party member identified as Han Song-hoon when he declared martial law on Tuesday. Further developments shared that the arrest list also included the leader of the main opposition Democratic Party, Lee Jae-myung, as well as 3 opposition lawmakers. A statement released by the National Intelligence Service Deputy Director said that the president tried to use martial law as a way to arrest and wipe them out. The revelation came as the country's political parties held emergency meetings throughout Friday, with MPs planning to bring a vote to impeach Yoon. The motion, which is scheduled for Saturday, will pass if 2/3 of MPs vote for it. The revelation came as the country's political parties held emergency meetings to impeach him. The president cited threats from anti-state force, but was soon revealed that the move had been spurred due to his own domestic political party troubles. The European Union has signed a trade deal with 4 of South America's biggest economies. This comes after a previous agreement in 2019 that failed to come into force. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called this a historic milestone, sharing that this move will generate more jobs, better prices and more choices. Last year, Europe sold almost $59 billion worth of goods to Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay. The historic reopening of the Notre Dame after a devastating fire in 2019 is scheduled for this weekend. The ritualized reopening of the cathedral's massive door will begin with the celebration of the first Mass. US President-elect Donald Trump and dozens of heads of states and government have accepted invites from the French President Emmanuel Macron. During the ceremony on Saturday, Archbishop Laurent Ulrich will lead more than 1,500 guests through the reopening service. 340,000 people donated from more than 150 countries to the public body in charge of Notre Dame's restoration. The World Health Organization is set to deploy experts to investigate a mystery like flu illness that has killed dozens of people in South Congo. The symptoms include fever, headache, cough and anemia. Authorities in Congo have so far confirmed 71 deaths. The health authorities have further commented that the area where the breakout first took place is already a fragile zone, since 40% of the residents suffer from malnutrition. Further developments are awaited from the WHO. Viewers, now we will bring you stories from the world of sports that we're tracking for you. As the day 1 of the Border Gavaskar Trophy ends, Australia trails by 94 runs against India. Keep listening to all the buzz right here on our sports segment. Australia reached 86 for 1 in their first innings after dismissing India for 180 at the end of the opening day of the pink ball test. Nathan McSweeney and Marnus Labuschagne were at the crease on 38 and 20 respectively when the stumps were drawn after 33 overs of play in Australia's first innings. The home side trailed by 94 runs. Opener Usman Khawaja was the lone Australia batter, out for 13 of the bowling of Jasprit Bumrah. Seasoned pacer Mitchell Starc made the most of a moving pink ball for a career-best 6-wicket haul as India flattened to deceive to let Australia hold all the aces on day 1 of the day-night test. Opting to bat, India had it under control at 69 for 1 before they lost their way to settle for 180 all out at stroke of dinner. A fearless Nitish Reddy, 42 of 54, was the sole man responsible for taking his team past the 150-run mark, adding valuable runs with the lower order. Mitchell Starc resumed his love affair with the pink ball, putting India on the back foot for the first time in the Border Gavaskar Trophy 2024-25 series. Mitchell Starc claimed 6 wickets, orchestrating India's collapse. The visitors were bundled out for 180, the lowest first innings total in a day-night test at the iconic venue. Yashasvi Jaiswal got off to a horrendous start on day 1 of the pink ball test between India and Australia at the Adelaide Oval. Australia's pace spearheaded bowled a full delivery which struck Jaiswal in front of his leg stump, and the on-field umpire Chris Gaffney had no hesitation in raising his dreaded finger. This is the first time Jaiswal has registered a golden duck in his test career. He has joined 6 other Indian players who have got out on the first ball of a match in Test cricket. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, the 2 heavyweights of the Indian cricket team, struggled to get going in the pink ball Test match. Virat had scored a stellar 100 in the second innings of the Perth Test, but failed to replicate his heroics from Optus at the Adelaide Oval. Rohit Sharma, on the other hand, who batted lower down the order after almost 6 years, could score only 3 runs. Harry Brook played the role of New Zealand's nemesis, with Flair reaching his 8th Test century as England finished in a strong position after the first day of the second Test. Brook's fast-paced innings of 123 included a century from 91 balls and set the tempo of a day on which 346 runs were scored and 15 wickets fell. Vaibhav Suryavanshi was the star of the show again with a second successive half-century as India stormed into the Under-19 Asia Cup ODI final with a comprehensive 7-wicket victory over Sri Lanka. The 13-year-old, who became the youngest cricketer ever to be bought at an IPL auction last month, smashed 5 sixes and 6 fours for his 36 ball for 67 as India chased down a target of 174 with as many as 170 balls to spare. India will face Bangladesh in the final at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium on Sunday. Former India batter Praveen Ambre, who has worked with Prithvi Shaw at the Delhi Capitals, said no one can help if he doesn't help himself. Ambre said Shaw needs to devote equal time at the nets and at the gym to get his career back on track. Sri Lanka's Shami Silva has taken over as the president of the Asian Cricket Council, or the ACC, succeeding India's Jay Shah, who recently became the chairman of the ICC, or the International Cricket Council. Shah had vacated a position after 3 terms as ACC president. It won't be Silva's maiden role with the ACC, having previously functioned as the chairman of the organization's Finance and Marketing Committee. Now we will bring you stories from the world of entertainment that we're tracking for you. Actor Allu Arjun breaks his silence on Pushpa 2 Stampede tragedy. We will get to this story in a while. Let's get started. The 4th Red Sea International Film Festival has officially begun in Jeddah, with the red carpet featuring Will Smith, Emily Blunt, Michael Douglas, Catherine Zeta-Jones and Amir Khan. The opening ceremony celebrated the achievements of Blunt, Vin Diesel and Khan with honorary awards. Over 120 films from 81 countries are being showcased, including 16 in the competition for the prestigious Youth Awards. The event, aimed at promoting regional filmmakers and global connections, also features several in-conversation events with prominent figures like Spike Lee, Viola Davis and Ranbir Kapoor in focus. The Red Sea Film Festival in Jeddah is showcasing a diverse array of international films, featuring the emotionally charged narratives like Egyptian drama Seeking Haven for Mr. Rambo, which explores themes of human connection and violence, and the adventurous animated feature Panda Bear in Africa, about a panda's quest to rescue a friend. Continuing in the historic Al Balad district, Saudi Arabia's push to expand its cultural influence through film and entertainment is facing ongoing scrutiny over its human rights record. Viewers, and that's a wrap on Quick Morning for today, but don't go anywhere as we bring you all the top stories from across the country and the world. So stay tuned to Republic TV.